Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it is. I think, I mean, Rafa Casal, Rafa hit me up. He's a friend of mine, and I've been such a fan of him and David, and met him throughout the years. Actually, I got introduced by another friend, Utkarsh, in studio when we were doing a song called Rufio, when the UTK hit me up, and we did, me, UTK, and Lin-Manuel Miranda we did a song together called Rufio, and that kind of like, when we first met, started hanging, and then just getting to know Rafa, and then as Blindspotting hit, I was so inspired by the film initially, and we had all these conversations. Actually, his advice led me to directing my own film in Pittsburgh, California, because he's like, "Yo, you got to shoot your film," because I was like, "You did Oakland so sweet," and he's like, "You got to do one in Pittsburgh." So I did my film, and then he came up with this idea for season 2 of Blindspotting. I loved everything he did season 1, and it was like, I have a weird idea. Tell me if you be game. And then, of course, I'm like, I'm always down to support, amazing artists like David and Rafa, and they pitched it to me, and I knew April, and I knew the show, and I was like, dope, let's do this. And so I was very excited to kind of join the family. Season 2, get into it with Lance Romance here. I think, people they're gonna hit it something people aren't really expecting, and I think it's hope people enjoy it.
No, the entire time I'm like, it's not really going to be Rufio. Like, this is just like a little joke. And then it was, in fact, you. Are you still, it's been like 30 years at this point. Are you still recognized for the role?
Yeah. All the time. I always tell people I've been Rufio longer than I haven't been Rufio, which is kind of strange. But it's one of those characters that have followed me around for 30 years. And it's been I'm from the Bay Area, so he was putting a lot of Bay Area legends in the season 2. So I'm honored that he thought of me to put me within the lineup of cast like 840 and Too Short and cast like that, which is amazing. But also, to represent Filipinos in the Bay, because I'm from the Bay Area, and Filipino representation is super strong in the Bay. We've been around for so long, and it's such a big part of the community up there. And having a Filipino actress as a series regular on the show with April, and then having Rufio, which is kind of like a, just a cornerstone of the Filipino community, but also a cornerstone nostalgia character from that generation. I thought it was cool. It's a little risky, but I thought it was fun, and I think we did an amazing job, y'all.
Yeah, especially with the Filipino part. I loved how it was such a celebration of that culture as well. And I thought that was just very sweet. Lance, not to leave you out, you're also from the Bay Area. What is it like to be a part of a show that is literally such a celebration of your home?
It's beyond special because, and Dante could probably speak to this too. It's like you live in the Bay, but when you want to go pursue a career in acting, you got to move to LA. That's where it is. And you move here. And when I moved here, like the Bay, we have swag, we have a way we talk, have different vernacular. I kind of have to lose that in some things that I audition for because, like, where are you from? Like, I'm from the Bay, I'm from East Oakland. Like, what's up? And to lose that for some roles here, but then to go back up to the Bay, audition for Blindspot, and be able to bring everything back up where I was born and raised and book that role, that was very, very special. And basically in the movie and in season 1, my character is just a flex. Like, how Bay can I be with my vernacular, my diction? How swaggy can I be so I can be encompassing of a whole body of people that talk a certain way in a rhythmic type of a cadence? And in season 2, we kind of get around that a little bit more and step outside, and my relationship with April, and you get to see his mind, more inside of his mind, and his heart and his love for April. And you kind of see his vulnerability and his fanboy for being a big Hook fan, and leads into some very precarious situations.
Yeah. April, speaking of Jackie and Trish, like, what's up with that? Like,
I don't.
Yeah, what's up with that? What is up with that?
What's going down with that?
I don't even know.
Daughter of mine, what are you doing?
Jackie's confused. She's in her mid-20s. She's going through the quarter life crisis, I think. But I think for the first time, I don't know how much of this I can say, but even my dad was like, "You're the only one that she ever fought for." And even Jackie has a moment where she's like, "Oh, damn, yeah, that's true, huh?" And so I think there's just a lot of new things happening within herself, that the wifedom between her and Trish which had always been a thing, is now like, well, maybe there is more like versions of love. And and sometimes you finally understand what that is when you're in your mid-20s, or even love just continues to evolve. And so yeah, I think Jackie's just trying to make sense of all of that.
Yes. And also, I think it's just the typical jealousy that people have, that like when their best friend has something else going on, whether it's a significant other or a career, it's just like, no, that's not how it goes. Like, we have tacos together. We go to the movies together. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Lance, how is it like to have that tension? Because like, we want to root for you, but like Trish and Jackie, like, what is
I mean, but the thing is, I think you see that I got to keep it smooth. Like, I know that they have this wifedom that I've never even used that word, whatever that means. But I'm going to just do it with a smile on my face. Whether if I show up with a kite spool to help a pinata get lifted, or I lift Jackie in my arms, like a bit like she lift her in my arms, because I know like Trish can't do that, or even if she tried. And if she wanted to if she wanted to get into a battle with somebody's father for their love, I don't think she would be so successful as I would be. So I just kind of play it smooth.
Speaking of the battle, what was this spatula fight? Like, how was it like to do that?
Hey,
we got, I loved this show because the surrealism, it's the first time I watched it, it really took me. Once there was spoken word and there was dancing and there was, because like, look, I grew up in Hollywood in the 80s and 90s and whatnot, and we were all part of hood movies, and we're in hood movies, and you see certain things, and we know what it is, and we played these roles, and it was very true depictions of the neighborhood and the community. But then David and Rafa are doing something else. They taking it and putting a spin on it, and really, which is actually very Bay. It's very Oakland in its own. I mean, I can't even really put it into words necessarily. It's like a trip. They go into the trip of it, the hip hop trip of the situation, which a lot of us have been on that vibe in the Bay. And he goes from spoken word into dance to action movie situations where it's like a surreal kind of sword fight that goes on. Larger than life things could happen, and I really love what they're doing with the show, because we don't necessarily get to see our people and our community in these situations, and we watch all these films and different filmmakers, and we don't necessarily see ourselves. It's in our minds. We all have crazy stuff that happened, and when we tell stories, we've all told the stories of how this and that would happen, but to see it portrayed and put it right on screen and really get our stories within this kind of visual storytelling, and it just kind of blasts out the situation and kind of gets you the feeling of what's going on in a crazy way. But me and Lance also worked hard on that sword fight scene.
We worked really hard. We did some rehearsals. We didn't have any injuries, which was good too.
No injuries. There's a few moments I was like, hold up. We're doing.
Yeah, you're going through the entire house. There's like a refrigerator door. Like, it really could have gone south at any point in time.
Lance is very tall also.
Yeah.
You understand?
It's an illusion. I'm already going to miss the hit anyway. So, it's always an illusion. But it was good, like, being a former athlete and I haven't got to work in the action space in that way. So just to train was just fun, and collaborating with Dante and figuring things out with choreography. And then, as we take breaks, just to hear his stories after being in the game, for so long, and I don't know if you know this, but I went to school with his cousin, and I would never think 30 years ago that when he said, "Oh yeah, cousin Rufio, bro," I'm like, "Your cousin ain't Rufio." First thing I said when I talked to him was like, "Yo, is he your cousin?" He's like, "That's my cousin." I'm like, "Dang, I was not lying."
Yeah, it's like method acting. It's like everything came full circle for you.
It did.
Yeah, I never knew as a very young child that I would be speaking to Rufio in my 30s. So it is definitely full circle.
Right.
Dante, are you allowed to make people Lost Boys? Like, can you?
I mean, yes,
Night
I
Lost
am the
Boys?
leader of the Lost Boys, so I can like night people, Lost Boys and girls. Yes, for sure, 100%.
Yeah. And
Yes.
April, does that make you an official Lost Girl, or are you like a descendant of Tinkerbell?
Ooh. Well, now that you introduced
hold
that,
up.
I think I want to be a descendant of Tinkerbell. That sounds amazing. But I do wholeheartedly believe I am a lost girl all the way through. But maybe I'll want to be a descendant of Tinkerbell for Halloween or something.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the costume?
I feel like even there was a nod to the costume, but just in general.
Oh yeah. Well, the costume was the character from Fern Gully.
Oh.
Gosh, I'm trying to remember her name, but I need to watch that cartoon. It was so good.
Yes. We kind of touched about this before. What I love about the show is that, to say it bluntly, like, it's not whitewashed. Like, you guys just aren't like these token people of color in this universe, and it's not the whitewashed version of Oakland, which I'm assuming isn't just this very completely gentrified. There's no culture and history about that at all. And that's honestly not common in Hollywood or any films. It's not as common. What is it like to kind of be a part of that project, not just for Oakland, but just as a person of color in the industry?
I will say, standing way over 6 foot, that putting a basketball in my hand has been the norm for everyone, and a lot that I did. So for them not to give Cuddie a basketball, but give him a kite or a sailboat and make him a loan officer, it was a joy, and it was a breath of fresh air. That's what I will say about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been through generations of being a person of color in Hollywood, right? So I've been from acting in like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air days to Moesha days to Hanging Mr. Cooper day. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I've seen the generations change, not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera. And the beautiful thing is Hollywood's changed, the world's changed, and everyone's been kind of doing their thing throughout the years, which is amazing. But it's a new time with a new voice, cats like Rafa and David, and the generation that's coming up now, and how they're able to express themselves and how they see the world. The world's changed, and the accepting of who we are, and we can actually be ourselves. And the storylines, I mean, this show, the tone is very different than so many other shows about the neighborhood. The themes that they're tackling and they're doing in it with a lightheartedness even is but also have the drama. It's phenomenal to see what this production crew has been able to accomplish thus far, and exciting to see as this season unravels and kind of we see what's going on. But it's really amazing. It's really the new generation of creatives kind of taking over, and really it's their turn to tell the stories, and I'm so excited by it.
Can I give you the snaps? Can I do this?
Okay, hey.
There we go.
What about you, April?
Yeah, well, everything they said, but also, Oakland over the decades has always had such a bad rep. But there's so much heart here. And Lance mentioned it earlier that this place is such a melting pot of so many different cultures. So I think the fact that Oakland got to be the catalyst to a story that has the power to hopefully like change the minds and the hearts of a lot of people in this country right now, where there's just so much like inflammatory rhetoric and so much division. I'm really excited, proud, and hopeful to be a part of something that is healing, because this is originated from a place that is a melting pot. I think this show will get to show everyone else how possible it is for us to be unified. And I think that's just so beautiful that Oakland got to be the spark of that discussion and that impact. So that's how I feel about all of this.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I can't wait to talk to you guys about future projects because you will be booked and busy. I'm putting it out to the universe.
Hey,
Thank
let's
you,
go.
Ariana.
Thank you so much, Ariana.
Awesome. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Great.
Bye.